everybody, welcome back to another session of the Hopry. My name is Mark Starr, and tonight I'm going to share a beer with you that I've been wanting to drink for a long time. So it's probably no surprise, but I have a subscription to Draft Magazine, and I generally pretty much respect their opinions and the things that they write. And one of the things that I look forward to every year in January is their year-end list, so the top 25 beers that they tasted for the preceding year. And I was, really fascinated by a beer that they talked about last year in their top 25 list, and it was this beer right here. It's by Pelican Brewing Company, and they're out of Oregon. And I wanted to just kind of read you one of the things that they said about this beer that really got me intrigued to buy it. So they say, any idea how good a cream ale has to be to make a top 25 list? As excellent as this one. This brewery may have one of the most beautiful views in America, with a backyard that butts up against the Pacific Ocean, and that beauty soaks into the beer. So that first sentence, how good does a cream ale have to be to make a top 25 list? Well, I like that because, a lot of times you go to Rate Beer and Beer Advocate, and we've all had that conversation about why is it all of the big beers always seem to be, in the top 100? What about the lighter beers like the lagers and pilsners and hefeweizens and things like that? So that's why I got really intrigued by this beer, because it is a cream ale, which is a very light beer, along the lines of a pilsner or lager or something like that. But anyway, again, like I said, this is the Pelican Kiwanda Cream Ale, and the reason why they call it the Kiwanda Cream Ale is that they are located in Cape Kiwanda, which is in Pacific City, Oregon. I'll post a picture on my website and my little review that I post underneath there. But just go to Google and do a search for, Pelican Pub and Brewery, and then click on the images section, and you'll see just exactly how gorgeous the location of this brewery is. I think it's probably my favorite looking brewery in terms of location that I've ever seen, and hopefully I can get up there one day to visit it and say hello to Darren, the brewmaster up there. So anyway, well, let's go ahead and get started drinking this beer, because I'm pretty psyched. And it's a big 22-ounce beer, so it'll probably take me a little bit of time, to work my way through it. But anyway, before we get started, I just want to briefly kind of go over what a cream ale is. I looked this up a little bit ago on Beer Advocate, and it says cream ales spawned from the American light lager style are brewed as an ale, though are sometimes finished with a lager yeast or a lager beer mixed in. So you can tell it's going to be, pretty much a light beer, and although we are still in the midst of winter here in Kansas City, you know what, it's not going to hold me back. So, well, I'm pouring that, and right away you can tell that it is virtually as golden as it can get. And it's pretty clear as well. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'll kind of move it around, but really nice warm hay color or straw, even lemon drops, and it's got a really vibrant yellow color. So I would say in terms of looks, very beautiful beer. In terms of head, it's got a pretty small white, it's a soapy head, I would say. And just a touch of off-white. Other than that, it's virtually white. So, well, I'm anxious to smell it, so let's go ahead and dig in. So, getting a little bit of, like the malts, there's a bit of fruitiness, almost like a lemon essence. It really kind of reminds me of like the triple Carmelite, where triples are usually a little bit bigger beers. They also have a bit more of an aroma, and I would say this is almost like a light triple. That's kind of what it reminds me of the most. It's slightly floral, like maybe some white flowers, spring flowers in there. A real fresh fragrance, I should say. You know, on TV you see movies, people frolicking through meadows of white flowers. That's kind of what this smells like. At least that's what it reminds me of. And I don't get a whole lot of hoppiness in there, but I know traditionally they brew these with you know, a little bit of hop. So, well, let's go ahead and drink it. All right, here we go. Definitely getting that creaminess. So, you know, the difference in this and say a Bud Light or a Coors Light, obviously is the ingredients, first of all. But you really do kind of get that essence of vanilla or cream, you know, like a whipped cream that's in there, and it's more on like the aroma and mouthfeel, you know, more so than it is on the taste. Getting a very faint amount of that lemon, not very much. It is a bit, you know, floral. Again, getting mostly that creaminess. I imagine sitting at the Pelican Pub and Brewery, you know, sitting outside, listening to the waves coming in, looking at the amazing view, having some of these beers. I mean, this is a very easy drinking beer. You know, this, I mean, it's not going to take me anything to put away 22 ounces of this. You know, very light and refreshing. I think in the summertime this would be a go-to beer if I had more access to it. I was lucky enough to get one bottle, but hey, you know what? The floral component really kind of shines the most after you've taken the sip and it's washed down and kind of just sitting there on your palate. You know, not a whole lot more to say about this beer. I think it really serves a purpose. You know, it's not super complex. It's not real big. It's not chewy. It's, you know, not insanely over the top. But I guarantee you, if you live in a part of the country where you can get this beer and you have friends, family, whoever, co-workers that are, you know, used to drinking their regular American lagers, get them one of these. I think it'll really be a good transition for them into craft beer. It'll kind of give them a sense of something to hold on to, something to relate to, because it is very similar to those other beers. But I'll tell you what, I really like this one for the style. And now I've maybe had a handful or two of cream ales. There are quite a few on the market here in my area. So I have to kind of rate this based on comparison to those others and of the style. You know, this is not generally my type of beer that just, you know, excites me, but I'm really enjoying just how drinkable, how subtle, how nice the flavors are. So with that said, and the fact that this is a really beautiful color, I think it's really well crafted. I'm going to have to go probably about a 92, 93 on this one. I'll go 93. I'll give it an extra point just for the color and the drinkability. But so anyway, thanks a lot for coming back to another session of the Hopry. It's been good kind of sharing this beer with you, and hopefully you can go out and find one of these as well. All right, well, my name is Mark Starr. Thanks a lot for coming back. We'll see you later.